Good morning, Sunday, April 23rd, 2023. I've been doing a series of videos, baseball records, this time most career hits. I'm dealing with Hall of Fame players, except for one guy, Pete Rose, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm ranking 169 of them. Career total hits, starting with number one. Pete Rose, 4,256 hits. Number one career. Total hits. Last video, I did 1 through 10. This video, let's keep counting down. And we'll go all the way to 169. Not in this video. We'll see how many guys I can comment on. I'll mention their name, their career hits, and their highest total in one season. I'll give a couple of my own observations on some of these guys as we count down. We'll see how many we get in this video. Number 11 on the list, Eddie Collins, 3,315 career hits. His high, 224. Got a book here, Baseball Hall of Famers Almanac. So as we look at some of these guys, I'll give a couple of comments of what I think. 3,315 career hits. Very good, Eddie Collins. You know what his lifetime batting average was? 333. 333 lifetime. He only had one 200-hit season. That was 224 hits. That year he batted 372. 12 on the list, Willie Mays. 3,283 career hits. His high, 208. But he lays claim. How many guys have over 3,000 hits and over 600 homers? Can you name how many guys? 3,000 hits and over 600 homers. Only one other guy. Henry Aaron. Aaron had 755 homers, and he had 3,771 career hits. Willie Mays, 660 homers, 3,283. 13 on the list, Eddie Murray. 3,255 hits career. But what's unique about Eddie? Lifetime batting average of 287. Not good. If you have 3,000 hits, you need to have a batting average career of 300 or better. He didn't do it. But Eddie does have the claim that he can say, I'm one of the guys with over 500 homers and 3,000 hits. 504 career homers. Also, he has 1,917 RBIs. Never had a 200-hit season, and yet he gets 3,000 hits. His high was 186, Eddie Murray. 14 on the list, Nap Lajoie. 3,252 career hits. His high was 232 in one season. That was a very good year. You know what he did that year? Lajoie, I've got him here. The year he got 232 hits, he batted .426. Listen to this. He gets the 232 hits in just 131 games. Let's say he plays 154. That would have been 23 more games. Let's say he averages a hit a game. 23 and 232 would have gave him 265 hits for the season if he got a hit a game for 23 more games. Wow, what a pace that year was. He bats .426. Nap Lajoie, Hall of Fame. 15 on the list, Cal Ripken. Iron Man 2,632 consecutive games. And he ends up with 3,184 because he played 3,001 games. The only thing about Ripken that he could have done better, his high was 211 hits. So he has the capacity to get 200 hits in a season because he's playing 162 games every year. So he had two 200 hit seasons, but the only knock on Ripken, 276 career batting average. Not good. If you're a 3,000 hit guy, you need to be over 300 career batting average. Ripken, I wonder why he didn't get to 300 career. Maybe he slugged 431 homers. Maybe he's going for the homer a lot instead of the base hits. And maybe since he had so many at bats that his average went down. That could have been it. So Cal Ripken. Okay, let's keep the countdown going. Let's see, 16 on the list. George Brett. 3,154 career hits. Very good. And what Brett does, he maintains the batting average of over 300. Career batting average for Brett, 305. See, 3,000 hits, 305 career. And his high for a year, 215 he had. Looks like he had two 200 hit seasons. So George Brett, quality hitter. I like the 3,000 hits and the 305 batting average. '17 on the list, career total hits. Paul Waner. This guy does something that Ripken and Brett did not do. He had 3,152 hits. Remember, Ripken had 3,184. Brett has 3,154. But what does Waner do? Paul Waner. He has 3,152. So he's a little behind Brett and Ripken. But Waner maintains a 333 career batting average. And Waner had more 200 hit seasons. Listen to this. His high was 237. But he has a 223, a 200, a 217, a 215, a 217, a 218, 219. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 200 hit seasons for Paul Waner. So according to this, even though Waner only hits 112 homers, Ripken has over 400, Brett has about 300. Would you consider Paul Waner a better hitter than George Brett and Cal Ripken? Do you want the homers or the hits? Waner has the better batting average. 8 200 hit seasons. 3,152 hits. That would be debatable, right? Who's better, George Brett or Paul Waner? Who would you take? I'd take Paul Waner, 333 career batting average. Number 18 on the list, Robin Yount. 3,142 career hits. But just like Ripken, he does not maintain a 300 career batting average. He does hit 250 homers. He only has one 200 hit season, and his high was 210. Waner has 8 200 hit seasons. Yount 1. Who do you take, Paul Waner or Robin Yount? Again, I take Paul Waner's 333. Number 19 on the list, Tony Gwynn. 3,141 career hits. Tony Gwynn, I saw him play because I live in the North San Diego County area. So I've watched his career for 20 years. Saw him play in person. In fact, I've told this story many times. I took my 3 sons to a ball game at San Diego Qualcomm Stadium, and it was photo day. And we're in the right field bleachers, and guess who's on the warning track out in right field? Tony Gwynn. And my boys are right at the rail where the warning track, and then you have the rail where the seats are. And they're leaning over the rail, and Gwynn is right there. And I snapped a photo with my boys and Gwynn in the background. That close to seeing Tony Gwynn. 3,141 hits. And a 338 career lifetime batting average. I love it. The only thing with Gwynn, his last 2 years, actually his last 3 years, did not play as much. 1998, he's in his 18th year. Only played 111 games. So he missed about 50, right? Yeah, 50 games right there. I would like to have seen him play 50 games. Then in 2000, he plays 36 games. Oh, man, that's like 130 games he missed. 125 games. And then in 2001, he plays 71. And a lot of those are just pinch hitting. One at bat. So his last 2 years, he gets 41 hits in 2000, and he gets 33 hits in 2001. If those years, if he had maintained 160, 170 hits, maybe 180, that would have been an extra 350 hits for Gwynn. It's possible that Gwynn could have ended up with 3,500 hits and a 340 lifetime batting average. But those last 2 years... But Tony Gwynn, his high was 220. And how many 200 hit seasons did he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 200 hit seasons. And he went through a period where he batted over 350 5 years in a row. 358, 394, 368, 353, 372. 5-year period over 350. Wow. Gwynn had more potential as far as ending up with 3,500 hits and could have been a 340 lifetime. But he ends up 338, 3,141 hits. Number 20 on the list, Dave Winfield. Dave Winfield. 3,110 hits and 465 homers. But I don't like the 283 career batting average. I do like the 3,000 hits. Never got over 200 hits a season. So that shows you that he's a consistent everyday ball player. And year after year after year, piling up the hits. And ends up with over 3,000. I like that. But his high was only 193 hits. 21 on the list. Craig Biggio, 3,060. Again, I like the fact that he held on long enough to get 3,000 hits. The thing with Biggio, 281 career. If you're a 3,000 hit guy, you need to be a 300 career batting average. Now, he would come back at me and say, hey, I had so many at-bats. It's hard to get 300 if you're playing so many years, 20 years, right? Well, how many years did he play? 88, 2000, yeah, about 20 years. So he's going to say, come on. But I'm going to come back at him and say, well, Cobb played 24 and batted 366 career. Aaron played 23 years and batted 305. Yeah. Pete Rose, 24 years, had 300 career batting average. Willie Mays, 22 years, 300 career batting average. So Biggio, you're not a home run guy, even though you hit 291. How come you couldn't maintain 300 career batting average? You got the 3,000 hits. Rose got over it. Aaron did it. Mays did it. Who else? Brett did it. Paul Molitor did it. Maintained the 300 and better. Jeter did it. Derek Jeter. But I admire Biggio for hanging on long enough. 3,060 hits in 2,800 games. But you know what interesting about Biggio? 668 doubles. Now he can lay that claim. He can say Brett and Glenn and all you guys, and he can say Molitor. He can come back at them and say, I got 668 doubles. How many doubles do you have? So that's a claim that Biggio has, but I don't like his 281 career batting average. 22 on the list. Rickey Henderson. 3,055 hits. He's in the class with Biggio. What class do I mean? 3,000 hits, yet under 300 career batting average. Rickey Henderson. I admire that he held on long enough, played 3,081 games. Played for about 10 teams, too. Guy plays for Oakland. He plays for the Oakland A's, the Yankees. Plays for Toronto. Plays for the Padres. Plays for the Anaheim Angels. Plays for Seattle. Plays for Boston, and plays for the Dodgers. What's going on, Anderson? Why are you bouncing around so much? But 3,055 hits, but 279 career batting average. Not acceptable. He'll come back at me and say I had over 10,000 at-bats. How do you maintain 300 batting average? Well, other guys did it. How come you couldn't do it? But he can lay the claim of 1,406 stolen bases. Nobody even comes close to that. So he's a base stealer. He walks, gets on base, base hits. Rickey Henderson should have had a 300 career batting average. 23 on the list. Rod Carew. Talk about pure hitting. You know what his career batting average is? Well, he has 3,053 hits. So he hangs on long enough, Carew, to get over 3,000. But what's good about him? 328 career. I like it. 3,000 hits, 328 career. And listen to this. His high, he had a 239 base hit season. 239 hits. That's a lot. I mean, if you can get over 200, you're good. But 239? He had 4 200 hit seasons. That 388 season was spectacular. That could have been a 400 hit season if he didn't get robbed, and maybe if some of those balls had gotten through the infield or over or not caught, he could have had a 400 batting season. But he ends up with 3,053 hits. I like it. 24 on the list, Lou Brock. He hangs on long enough to get 3,023 hits. I like that. Don't finish your career until you get to the 3,000 hit club. And he plays 2,600 games and gets over the threshold, but he fell short, 293 career batting average. So he's in that class of 3,000 hits and below 300 career. His high was only 206 hits. You would think he would have more more than that in a season because he's such a fast guy. Infield singles. He had 938 stolen bases. 3 200 hit seasons. Very good player. I would have liked to have seen 300 batting career. Fall short. Lou Brock. 25 on the list. Wade Boggs. Interesting guy here. Because he doesn't have the speed, but he has a really good eye at the plate, and he can hit. In fact, he ends up 3,010 hits. I like it. But listen to this. 328 career. Very good. And he lays claim to, listen to this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 200 hit seasons in a row. In a row. And his high was 240. That beats Caru's 239, and he beats Gwynn's 220. So Boggs, what a year he had there. He bats 368, plays the whole year. 3,010 hits, 328 career. Now, he, along with Molitor and Brett and Gwynn, have the 3,000 hits and over 300 batting average. So who would you take? Wade Boggs or Ricky Henderson or Lou Brock or Craig Biggio? Those guys did not, Brock, Biggio, Henderson, did not maintain the 300 career batting average. But Molitor, Gwynn, and Brett all maintained 3,000 hits and over 300 career batting average. So I'm going to have to take Boggs over those guys. 328. But I take Gwynn over Boggs. Because Gwynn is 338, Boggs 328. I take Gwynn over Molitor too. 26 on the list. Al Kaline. This guy, talk about just squeaking over 3,000, and I like it. He says, I'm not quitting until I get 3,000. He plays 2,834 games. And his last year, listen to this, 147 games in his last year. So he kept playing and playing and playing, saying, I want that 3,000, I want it. And he does it. 3,007 hits, 399 homers. I don't understand that. Why not just slug one more homer for the 400 homer club? But he falls short. 297 career. Come on, Kaline. What happened? Why couldn't you get 300 career batting? If you have 3,000 hits, you're a 300 hitter. And his high was 200 hits in a season. And he only did it once. 200 on the nose. Al Kaline. Good hitter, though. Because he's got the power and the hits. 27 on the list. Roberto Clemente. Heartbreaking story. He only plays 18 years. If he plays another 4 years, because you know how many hits he ends up with? You should know it. He ends up with 3,000 exactly. His last year, he plays 102 games. And he hangs on and gets his 3,000th hit. Right on the nose. How many guys can lay that claim? I have 3,000 exactly. 18 years. If he plays 4 more years, 150 hits a year, that's about 600 more hits. He could have been in the 3,500, 3,600 hit club. And I like this 317 career batting average. But we know the story. Maybe he would have kept playing. But after that 18th year, he had a plane crash going to Nicaragua. And he was gone, died. Roberto Clemente, what a hitter. 240 homers. He could hit the homer, but he didn't really go for it that much. His high was like 29 homers in 1 year. He had, let's see, one, two, three, four 200 hit seasons. His high for batting, his high for hits in a year, 211. So he's right there. 317. During that era, there was Aaron, Mantle, Mays, and Clemente. Those four guys. And they were saying, who's the best of those four? Well, Aaron has the power, but Clemente can lay the claim. Aaron, Mays, and Mantle have the power. 500 homers, 600 homers, 700 homers, right? But Mantle was under 200 career. Mays was about 302 or 3, I forgot which, I think it's 303. And Aaron was 305. But Clemente lays the claim, I'm 317. So I'm a better hitter. You guys are better sluggers, but I'm a better hitter. In fact, who would you take? Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, or Henry Aaron? How would you rank them, and who would you take in that order? If you want hitting, you have to go with Clemente number 1, Aaron 2, Mays 3, and Mantle 4. If you want to go for slugging, power, no. If you want to go for home runs, you got to go with Mantle first. Why? 18 years, 536 homers. See, Mays and Aaron played longer, and that's why they have more homers. But Mantle can hit the ball harder and farther. So for home runs, you go with Mantle, Aaron, Mays, and Clemente. Now, as far as slugging, who would you go with? Again, I would go with Mantle. I think he had better slugging than Aaron and Mays. As far as all-around player talent, who would you go? You have to go with Mays first, right? Mays, Aaron, Mantle, or maybe you would go Mays, Clemente. Clemente had the tools. He could run. So Mantle, Clemente, no. All around, Mays first, then Clemente, then Aaron, then Mantle. As far as who would I pick in my order, as far as Mantle, Mays, Aaron, and Clemente. If I want a hitter, I go with Clemente. If I want power at the plate, I go with Mantle. If I want all 5-tool all-around player, I go with Mays. If I want consistency and durability and dependability, I go with Aaron. See, Mantle got hurt, so you don't go with him on consistency and dependability because he's hurt. Aaron is in there in the lineup, and so is Mays. Slugger, you got to go with Mantle. As far as defense, you got to go with Clemente. So that's how I would look at it. But as far as my order of favorites, you got to go with Aaron first. 3,771 hits. He lays that claim. He has 700 more hits than Clemente. And he has more home runs than Mays and Mantle. He has more RBIs too. So my order would be Aaron first. Then you got to go with Mays, number 2. And then you go with Mantle, number 3, and Clemente, number 4. But as far as hitting, Clemente. Then you go with Aaron, Mays, Mantle. Power at the plate, you got to go with Mantle. Then Mays. Who's a better home run hitter, Aaron or Mays? You got to go with Aaron. But as far as all-around athlete, how about stolen bases? Who do you go with? You go with Mays. On base, who do you go with? On base percentage, I believe Mantle has the better one there because he walked a lot. He has more walks. That's a debate, isn't it? A very interesting debate. Those 4 guys Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and Roberto Clemente. Oh, I'd like to do a video just on those four. Okay. That covers, I'm covering career base hits. That covers numbers 11 through 27. We'll keep going on this countdown. Thanks for watching. I'm out.